I would like to introduce Ken and Brian from Options for All. They'll be walking us through their step-by-step plan for unlocking technology, both for their staff and the people using their alternative services.
20% of our employees had a work email address that we use through Gmail called G Suite, and 80% did not. We use it also for document sharing. And one of the challenges with that, as you know, in multiple locations, is it's not particularly secure, and it can make it a little bit difficult to keep track of documents and things that you need to share. All of our employees use their own personal devices, so for mobile phones, laptops, for daily work purposes, which also creates inefficiency because you aren't dealing with the same technology person by person. We're spending several $1,000s reimbursing employees for use of their phones as required under state law. And then the technology that we had was also old. So our spine was a little outdated. We used an outdated server that had been donated to us by someone who meant well, but it eventually got a little too old. We had this very odd Wi-Fi system that lacked routers in our office. And there was no virtual or remote service options for our participants or anything that we were doing. And so I'm going to pass it over to my colleague, Brian Zotti, our Vice President of Operations, who oversees IT, and he'll share some of the things that he implemented and then what we were able to do with that.
Great. Thank you, Ken. So first we had to ask ourselves, what was it we were trying to accomplish? And our primary objective was clear. It was to keep our participants connected and engaged. And so this meant we had to transition our in-person services to a remote environment and making sure that participants and employees had meaningful interactions, equipping them with the right technology, and just as important, helping them to feel confident and to feel comfortable with that technology. And of course, as Ken described our technology environment, that was our greatest constraint. It was really an incoherent legacy environment. So the next step for us was to look at a range of communication and information sharing solutions. We wanted the technology to be secure, user-friendly, functional, as integrated as possible, and not cost prohibitive. Now, many of you may have been using or use a solution called TechSoup, and that's something that we have used in the past to get great deals on top-of-the-line, top-shelf type solutions and capabilities. But we also wanted to reach out to known providers and not be afraid to reach out to the Verizons and the Apples and the Amazons. And while that can be somewhat intimidating because you think that they work largely with Fortune 500s, they're actually very reasonable. And so we sought out quotes, negotiated on prices and terms, and worked with a consulting firm called Cypress Consulting that specializes in supporting nonprofit groups and nonprofit organizations and helps them to handle and implement technologies that are really beyond the in-house abilities. And so we found that the vendors that we work with, Verizon, Apple, and Amazon, to be very reasonable and very generous in their interactions with us.